art makers, it's Jocelyn. Welcome to Make Art Monday again. Today we're going to make some abstract faces. What do I mean by abstract? Well, abstract means it can kind of look like what you're saying, or it doesn't really have to look like what you're saying. So when I say faces, it doesn't have to look like your face, like, you know, an oval circle, two eyes, a nose, and a mouth, all in the proper places. It can be a little bit broken up, distorted, different. It doesn't even really have to look like a face with eyes, a nose, and a mouth. You can make it however you want. But anyhow, we're gonna just dive right into it. But I just want you to get your supplies ready. I have watercolor supplies for myself. And if you don't have watercolors, or if you want to use something else, you can use whatever you have at home. So I have my brushes, and I have some water. I have my watercolor set, which I love. I'm also going to use some pastels. I'm just going to use the black one. If you don't have pastels, crayons are great. So I have my crayons handy too, just in case. I have my watercolor paper because I am going to paint watercolor today. But if you don't have that, that's fine. Just use sketch paper if you have some. And I also have scrap paper, just in case I want to try my designs before I actually put them on my paper. So go ahead and get your supplies ready. And if you want to grab a pencil too, to try your designs, so you don't have to use up all your good supplies like your crayons and your oil pastels. It's a good idea to try things with paper first. And go ahead and get yourself set up. I'm going to turn the camera down so you can see my work, and we'll get going, okay? Hey everybody! Okay, so I've got my supplies all pretty much set up. I've got my pastels, my crayons, my watercolor supplies ready to go. This is my watercolor paper, and I'm not going to start on this watercolor paper. I'm going to draw on some scrap paper with a crayon. So I'm going to set my watercolor paper aside. This is sketch paper, which I also can use if I want to actually do my work in pastels or just crayons or markers or something else. But I'm going to set this aside, and I'm just going to get a couple sheets of my scrap paper here so we can talk about what we're doing. So my scrap paper, I can do whatever I want to this, destroy it, and chuck it. Let's kind of plan what we're going to do. So what I mean by an abstract face, you could just throw a very large eye on there, and a nose, and a mouth, or something like that. You could do something like that. You could do a winking eye with eyelashes, and a kissy face, and, you know, who knows, an ear and a nose, or that's a weird nose, right? And another winky eye. So you can see this doesn't really look like a face, right? We're just using the pieces of the face, and we're going to use them in an abstract way. And I'm drawing them really, really big. So let me see. What if I'm going to do a very fashion-y kind of an eye? I don't know why, just because I want to. I'm kind of making a mess here. Again, this is my scrap paper, right? So it doesn't matter. Also, with crayon and pastel, it's going to be thick and gunky anyway, so that's okay. So let me see. I think I'll do big puckered up, a smile over here. Maybe I'll do like an ear shape, another ear shape, and a really swirl for the nose. So I like this design, maybe something like this. But also what I'm going to do is, after I get my pieces on here, I am going to just take my crayon and make some lines from one side of the paper to the other. From one side to the other, from one side to the other. You can go all the way across if you want. What we want is for our lines to make some intersections so that we end up with spaces. Ooh, I'm going to take this line over there. This is a space, this is a space, this is a space, and here's a space, this is a space, this is a big space. Do you see what I mean? We got some spaces going on. So I kind of want it to be like that. I'm going to do one more scrap before I attack my paper, but I'm liking this. So let's see. Maybe I'll do stuff not so big. So let's see, there's a big eye. I'll add some eyelashes. And I'll give it a wing. Okay. And I do like the big swirl nose. I don't know why. And let's see. Maybe a flying smoochy face. How's that? So I'm gonna do my patterns again. I like my bump pattern too, my bumps. They're fun. I'm gonna do some more bumps over here. And then I think I'll add another line in there. And then I feel like I need a line to go all the way around through the middle of this design. Maybe another one. Yeah, so I think this is nice. So I know I just threw bumps at you this time, but maybe it's something like that is good to incorporate. It takes up space. Wavy lines are good, they take up space. And then here's my lines that go across from one side of the paper to the other. Remember those? Okay, so I think I'm gonna go with this. So give your design a test run before you use all your good supplies. So again, I'm gonna use pastels. Pastels are just like crayons, they're just a little bit like gunkier, like stickier. So now, I think I'm gonna do that design. See how thick the pastel is? It's like a big fat crayon. Oh, see, I got some on my hand and dragged it over here. That's okay. That's what pastels do. So if you're using pastels, just remember to keep your hand up off the paper. Maybe just use your pinky, or what you can do is you can lay down some scrap paper to rest your hand on so you don't get the pastels on your hand, and then you can keep working. The only thing is now I can't put this on top of here and then rest my hand on it because it will pick up the pastel. So now I have to work around, which means that I just have to turn my paper. Let me see, I'm gonna be really abstract and do two smoochies. That doesn't look like smoochies. Whatever, it's fine. And I'm gonna do a curly nose because I still like those. I know it's a really big nose compared to that eye, but that's okay. It's an abstract painting, right? Okay, I think I'm gonna add some bumps because I like those bumps. And then I'm gonna add some bumps over here on the opposite corner. Some little bumps right here. Boop, boop. And then, now I'm just gonna be careful. I'm gonna move my scrap paper. I'm gonna use this, my smear. I'm gonna make some lines off of it. See? Artists were creative and crafty, right? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. And maybe one more. We'll start here. There we go. That's enough lines on this page. Okay, and this is where the fun starts. I'm using watercolors. Like I said, that's the fun part for this. Make sure I have no pastels on my hands. And if you just have crayons at home, that's fine. Start coloring if you just have crayons at home or markers. Start coloring the spaces that you can fill. Like I would fill this with a color, and then I would fill this little space with another color, and this space with another color, and this space with another color. And that's how you would work the crayons or the markers or the colored pencils. But I have watercolors, so I'm gonna actually use, I'm not gonna fill in spaces because the watercolor probably won't do that very neatly. I'm going to kind of make color clouds or color blobs. Just going to spread my colors into the painting.